Alright, we should be live on both Twitch and YouTube right now. Let's see. Give me 1 second while I get on YouTube. Alright, I think we're good. Hello everyone. So today we're gonna be, as the title explains, we are going to be destroying my code base. So let me just get the YouTube live stream up. Last time I did this, so I'm very new to streaming, and so I ended up missing a lot of the YouTube comments. Let me see. Okay, I think we're live everywhere now. Okay. Yeah, so the goal of today is, so I have, let's see if we can find it. So this is my Chrome extension. I think we hit slightly above 500 users at one point at the peak. And so I've been having some issues that I highlighted in previous streams, where the main issue is that, like, I'm paying $37.20 per month to keep this running. So that is the, this is a little loud for me. So the cost comes from hosting the backend service in, I use DigitalOcean, and then also I'm paying for the data. So the data is coming from this website, and the cost is like $30 a month for 50,000 requests, and it's just too much. Looks like I got my first spam message. Nice. Yeah, so what I want to do instead is I want to use NHL.com has public APIs to show the same data. So let's say I need to add this to my new Chrome profile. Let's put in this. And so yeah, the Chrome extension, I get like the scores and schedule and the standings for the National Hockey League, and I'm paying for the data right now. But if we look at like the network requests here, and we go to scores, there are publicly available APIs. Yeah, here we go, to get scores and standings. So you'll see this call is getting the scores for today's date, which is June, actually no, it's yesterday's date, interesting, June 6th. And then, yeah, the response looks like this. So what I want to do is, instead of paying $30 a month to use data, why not just use this free endpoint from the official source, NHL.com. So that's the goal of this. Originally, I was going to just make tweaks to my code base, but honestly I started doing that, and I really just don't like the code base in general. I built it about like 2.5 years ago, and to be honest, I would rather just start from scratch, because a lot of it is just super ugly. I just don't like the code. It's very confusing. I did it in vanilla JavaScript, and like with all the complicated responses, it's kind of hard to track what the expected response is in each case. And even I keep transforming objects into different types of objects, and so it's just hard to keep track of. So what I really want to do is I want to use TypeScript instead, which will be easier for me. And yeah, I mean, I might use a framework. Honestly, I kind of wanted to challenge myself for the first one, and that's why I did vanilla JavaScript. So there's no frameworks, there's no React, there's no Angular, there's no nothing. But yeah, honestly, to get the UX off the ground, I probably will use a framework just to get it done faster. Because right now I've already done the UX. I just want to replace this code as fast as possible and not have to pay the $37.20 a month. Like if we do the math on that, I think so. I've had this for like what? I think 2.5 years. So that's about what, 30 months. So I've spent like over $1,000 on this Chrome extension just to keep it running. So yeah, I think we'll get started. I have the old code base here, and a lot of this I can just copy over. So honestly, I think probably all of this I can copy. This is actually my first time writing code on this computer. Besides that, I did the Primogen video, I want to say a couple months ago. And so I was writing code in Linux for Windows subsystem for Linux for that. But outside of that, this is the first time I've literally done development on my new PC, which I got in January. I've still been doing most of the development on my MacBook, just because everything's like already set up on there. But yeah, last night I set this computer up for the first time. So I'm just making sure that we're actually live. It's somewhat disorienting because I'm so used to doing YouTube videos where you don't have to worry about like something going wrong live. It's just hard to keep track. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I think I'm on main right now. I just created this code base. Yeah. Yeah, so let me paste that. Yeah, I'll need to get the locale as well. So a lot of these, like, these images, these icons, I can keep the same. The manifest, I'll have to make some changes. But I think a lot of it I should be able to keep the same. I have these locale files. I translated the app into a bunch of different languages. I think this is, I want to say Czech, German, English, Spanish, Finnish, French, Russian, and Swedish? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Swedish. So we'll copy this whole thing. Paste that in there. Yeah, I think everything else I'll have to write from scratch. So yeah, I'll have to do all this. I mean, I might be able to steal some of this, but I think for right now, I won't worry about the styling. That will take some time. I think what I'll probably do first is probably, so I've ported over like the files that I can reuse. I need to set up a bundler since I'm using TypeScript. I've been thinking of using a bundler that I'm not familiar with, just so I can actually learn from writing this app. And then once I get the bundler done, we'll probably work on creating all the types for the API call responses, and then probably just do a lot of testing, making sure all the API calls are working correctly, and then from there I'll work on the actual UX. Honestly, design will probably be last, so as it usually is. So yeah, I could probably commit this, or so I'll probably bump this to 4.0. I think this is like a big enough change to where it warrants the big version upgrade. Everything else we can keep the same. These are all just using like the locales. So if we look at, let's say English. Yeah, so this is the extension name. It gets translated into, so let's look at the Swedish one. That's That's whatever that is. We got Russian here. So there's that. Spanish. British. This took quite a amount of time because the only other language here that I speak besides English is Spanish. All this other stuff, obviously Russian, I was not writing this myself. French, German, Czech. I hope, like, my goal is that, like, when people are actually looking up for these Chrome extensions, that the fact that it's translated into their like natural language does make them more comfortable while using it. Obviously they're following, like, this is an American sports league, so I mean the odds that they speak English are, I guess, slightly higher, but yeah, it honestly wasn't that hard to do. Mostly what I did was I just scraped the translations from NHL.com because they're already translated into all of these languages. So, like, I forget how I get to that. I want to say it's like, let's say I do ES. Yeah, so now I'm on, like, the Spanish version. If I do, yeah, so this is how we get to the Russian version. So basically what I did is, since all of the words inside of my Chrome extension are used here, I just found in the website where that word is used in English, updated the locale, and then stole that translation. So I tried to use Google Translate as much as I could to verify that that I was copying the right thing, but yeah, I think it worked out. So just hopefully I don't have to change these translations anytime soon. Yeah, so I think everything looks good here. This is a good, like, starting point for, I guess, the first commit. Yeah, so these are all the icons that I have in different sizes. I actually hired a designer, I think on Fiverr, to create these, and they came out really good. Yeah, I was really happy with how that came out. Let's see. And yeah, these are all the... I might, based on the designs, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about the designs right now. I might update them a little bit. And in that case, if I remove some pieces of text, I might be able to get rid of these translations. There are a lot of stuff because of the new API calls that I will have to change. So we'll see. I think one of the examples, I have to take a look in one of the limitations from LiveScore, which is the website that I was using to get the data initially. So let's go back to that. And this was so annoying for me. Yeah, there's no games right now. But basically, so hockey is made up of 3 periods, right? So you have the first period, second period, third period. And what would annoy me is if when they would return the scores data for a game that's in the intermission, so let's say you're in between the first and second period, they would just return a null scoreboard value of, like, where the game is at right now. And that was such a pain because I would always have to store the previous state, and let's say, like, my backend service had to restart in the middle of the games. There was no way to figure out what intermission we're in because I have no access to what the scoreboard said previously. So for example, like, the logic that I had to do is like, okay, we were in the first period the last time I made this API call. Now the API call is returning blank, so we must be in the end of the first period. So my hope is that this, like, official API, like, handles that a little bit more gracefully. Otherwise, I mean, well, it's just the same logic, but yeah, I'll have to do that again. Yeah, it's interesting. I have there are landscapers, like, right outside my window, and I have a green screen behind me and a giant light, so we'll close that for now. Yeah, so let's just make the first commit. set up with standard files. That's fun. Oh no. Yeah, I just set up the SSH keys for Git on this computer yesterday, so let me move this in case I have to enter something. Yeah, obviously I didn't want to do that on stream. I think it should be fine now. We'll see. Yes, it'll push. Yeah, I do want to set that. Do I remember how to do that? Alright, nice. How to set that equal to true. I'll set that up later. It's fine. I have that set up on everything. I have to push some refs. Yeah. Why is that running into issues? I have to push some refs to. Yeah, I know it's a new branch. I'm on that branch, right? That's what I called it. I have to push some refs. Yeah, I mean. Is that all the files are untracked and have not been added? I did add all of them. Nice. Yeah. Set upstream to origin. Yeah, I could do that, right? This is very aggressive. Yeah, I have the League of Legends music going because it's copyright free. Alright, let's see. Alright, I think this stemmed from I didn't make like an initial commit on main, so what we can do is how do you not have main? Without object main. Alright, I just want to check out. If this just like refuses not to work, I might just have to create the. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the branch from GitHub itself. And then push, because this is being a pain. If I don't show anything secret here. I like never use GitHub. So it's using ADO. I didn't get in it. Nice. Reinitialize existing. Okay. Okay, do push. What is that other one now? Okay. Branch. Main. What is the M flag? No, I don't know this. I want to see get full flag list. Get cheat sheet. Oh, I don't want to download that. That's fine. What's the command that it said? So branch. So is this just for renaming? You. Let's merge, I guess. Got to push some refs. Ref's head. It's not mentioned. It's confusing because like this is a new branch, so I created the branch locally. I'm pushing to origin. Like obviously the branch doesn't exist because I created it locally. Oh, did I not write a commit? Did I not commit this? Okay. No, I'm pretty sure I did. Right? Oh, no, I did not. I definitely did not. I thought I could have sworn I did. That was it. Wow, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough for sure. So let me change to. Can I do main? Is there no main? Did I not create a main? Okay. So is it master? Is that the branch? I thought GitHub changed it so that the default branch was called main. Yeah, let's check this. Yeah, I guess I didn't set up the default branch correctly. Alright, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with starting this from the, your branch is, but the upstream is gone. Okay. Yeah, so now I should see both of them. Nice. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. So I guess the first step here is I need to get started with setting up the bundler. So I've used a lot of different things for TypeScript bundling at work. I've never actually used TypeScript for a personal project. Like I said, this application that I built was entirely in vanilla JavaScript. But I do want to switch to TypeScript. I do think it will be easier because the amount of API calls I have in this, and then I have to track what I'm actually getting in the response. Like it's just gotten way too confusing. So anytime I have to debug anything, it just becomes impossibly complicated. So I think we're gonna use Vite, which I've never used before, but I mean I've heard good things about it. So I think we're gonna get started with that. After we get that set up, we're going to start testing the API calls. So I want to create the types for these response objects. And yeah, we'll get started from there. Alright, so I probably should go through the full guide. Before ES modules were available in browsers, developers had no native mechanism for authoring JavaScript in a modularized fashion. This is why we are all familiar with the concept of bundling, using tools that crawl, process, and concatenate our source modules into files that can run in the browser. Over time, we have seen tools like oh my god, I've used Webpack. I've used all of these: Webpack, Rollup, Parcel. Yeah, I have some rough memories of Webpack from my first full-time job. Over time, we have seen tools like Webpack, Rollup, Parcel, which greatly improve the development experience for front-end developers. However, as we build more and more ambitious applications, the amount of JavaScript we are dealing with is also increasing dramatically. It is not uncommon for large-scale projects to contain thousands of modules. We're starting to hit a performance bottleneck for JavaScript-based tooling. It can often take an unreasonably long wait, sometimes up to minutes, to spin up a dev server or even with hot module replacement. File edits can take a couple of seconds to be reflected in the browser. The slow feedback loop can greatly affect developers' productivity and happiness. Vite aims to address these issues by leveraging new advancements in the ecosystem, the availability of native ES modules in the browser, and the rise of JavaScript tools written and compiled to native languages. Wow, what a great story that is. What a great story. So I wonder what makes them different. When cold starting the dev server, a bundler-based build setup has to eagerly crawl and build your entire application before it can be served. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Vite improves the dev server start time by first dividing the modules in an application into two categories, dependencies and source code. Yeah, okay. Dependencies are mostly plain JavaScript that do not change often during development. Some large dependencies, component libraries with hundreds of modules, are also quite expensive to process. Dependencies may also be shipped in various module formats, ESM or CommonJS. Vite pre-bundles dependencies using ESBuild. ESBuild is written in Go and pre-bundles dependencies 10 to 100x faster than JavaScript-based bundlers. Interesting. Let's see what this takes me. Wow, I like charts. That's nice. I wish it was live though. I wish like you loaded up this website and it would like do a live bundling using all of these different bundlers. It could be the main goal of the ESBuild bundler project is to bring about a new era of build tool performance and create an easy to use modern bundler along the way. Extreme speed without needing a cache. JavaScript, CSS, TypeScript, and JSX built in. What about TSX? A straightforward API for CLI, JS, and Go. Bundles ESM and CommonJS modules. Bundles CSS including CSS modules. Tree shaking, minification, and source maps. Local server, watch mode, and plugins. Nice. So I guess Vite, it sounds like Vite is just built on top of this. Where did they mention this again? Vite pre-bundles, yeah, okay, use build. Source code often contains non-plain JavaScript that needs transforming, JSX, CSS, or Vue Svelte components, and will be edited very often. Also, not all source code needs to be loaded at the same time, with route-based code splitting. That's true. Vite serves source code over native ESM. This is essentially letting the browser take over the part of the job of a bundler. Vite only needs to transform and serve source code on demand as the browser requests it. Code behind conditional dynamic imports is only processed if actually used on the current screen. That makes sense. Bundle-based dev server. Okay, you entry, different routes. So this is just showing the difference that with a typical bundle-based dev server, you're going to bundle everything before the server is ready. This is server is ready first. Make an HTTP request, and then only bundle source code as needed. Makes sense. Makes sense. When a file is edited in a bundler-based build setup, it is inefficient to rebuild the whole bundle for an obvious reason. The update speed will degrade linearly with the size of the app. In some bundlers, the dev server runs the bundling in memory so that it only needs to invalidate part of its module graph when a file changes, but it still needs to reconstruct the entire bundle and reload the web page. Okay. In some bundlers, it's the bundling in memory. Okay, it needs to reconstruct. Okay, that makes sense. So you're saying with the dev server basically has to rebundle everything when there's a change. Reconstructing the bundle can be expensive, and reloading the page blows away the current state of the application. This is why some bundlers support hot module replacement, allowing a module to hot replace itself without affecting the rest of the page. This greatly improves DX. Is that developer experience? However, in practice, we found that even HMR update speed deteriorates significantly as the size of the application grows. In Vite, HMR is performed over the native ESM. When a file is edited, Vite only needs to precisely invalidate the chain between the edited module and its closest HMR boundary, most of the time only the module itself, making HMR updates consistently fast regardless of the size of your application. So the file is edited, Vite needs to invalidate the chain between the edited module and its closest HMR boundary. So it sounds like Like, so let's say they're referring to this graph. A certain file in one of these modules is edited, and it's basically looking for, it's doing some calculation on their side to determine the minimum needed to rebundle for this application to work. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Invite HMR is performed over native ESM. No, I already read that. Okay. Vite also leverages HTTP headers to speed up full page reloads. Again, let the browser do more work for us. Source code module requests are made via 304 not modified, and dependency module requests are strongly cached via cache control. Blah blah blah. So they don't hit the server again once cached. Dependency modules requests are strongly cached. I could have sworn they mentioned not using a cache here. Or maybe I read that in here. Extreme speed without needing a cache. So I guess ESBuild does not use a cache. But Vite does. Because Vite is using ESBuild for bundling, but it's like a... It has overhead to it, so there's like tools on top of the bundling. Okay. Once you've experienced how fast Vite is, we highly doubt you'll be willing to put up with bundled development again. Isn't this still bundled? Though. This is still a bundler. Okay. Maybe if I get really into this, we can go to save up some money and go to Vite Conference 2024. Even though native ESM is now widely supported, shipping unbundled ESM in production is still inefficient due to the additional network round trips caused by nested imports. To get the optimal loading performance in production, it is still better to bundle your code with tree shaking, lazy loading, and common chunk splitting for better caching. Ensuring optimal output and behavioral consistency between the dev server and the production build isn't easy. This is why Vite ships with a pre-configured build command that bakes in many performance optimizations out of the box. I guess I'll get to this later. Okay. By default it uses as the entry point. Yeah, I mean, pretty basic stuff here. It ships with a pre-configured... I don't know, I think it's funny to have like a tool that like is meant for bundling, and they're kind of flexing that there's a build command. But yeah, I mean, I hope there is. I hope there is a build command. Build optimizations. Yeah, we'll get to this later. What is this is under features. Okay, why not bundle with ESBuild? Vite's current plugin API isn't compatible with using ESBuild as a bundler. In spite of ESBuild being faster, Vite's adoption of Rollup's flexible plugin API, they're interesting, and infrastructure heavily contributed to its success in the ecosystem. For the time being, we believe that Rollup provides a better performance versus flexibility trade-off. Rollup has been working on performance improvements, switching its parser to SWC in v4, and there is an ongoing effort to build a Rust port of Rollup called Rolldown. Once Rolldown is ready, it could replace both Rollup and ESBuild in Vite, improving build performance significantly and removing inconsistencies between development and build. Interesting. I might actually save this for later. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get into Vite. Maybe that's what we're gonna get into next. Like actually going deep. Let's see. Yeah. I guess I don't fully understand. So I'm not like super familiar with these bundlers like under the hood. So they're saying that it uses rollup and it also uses ES build. I have used rollup one time. So I'm like slightly familiar with it. Interesting. Yeah, I think we'll keep going. I would like to like get more into the weeds here, just so I can like better understand how these bundles are working under the hood. But let's pick something a little. Oh shit! I forgot. I love the Pentakill album. Let's pick that. I don't know how loud the music is. I think from my side it doesn't look like it's too loud, but hopefully it's not too much for the viewers as well. Yeah, so let's keep going. So we already went through why Vite, so now we know why we're using Vite here. Let's get started. Oh, is this actually Vite? Okay, so this is Vite, not Vite. Okay, Vite is a build tool that aims to provide a faster and leaner development experience for modern web projects. It consists of two major parts. A dev server that provides rich feature enhancements over native ES modules, for example, extremely fast HMR. A build command that bundles your code with rollup pre-configured to output highly optimized static assets for production. Okay. Vite is opinionated and comes with sensible defaults out of the box. Read about what's possible in the features guide. Support for frameworks or integration with other tools is possible through plugins. Config section explains how to adapt Vite to your project if needed. Vite is also highly extensible via its plugin API and JavaScript API with full typing support. I think actually I forgot how awesome this album was. I kind of want to turn this up for a little bit. Bring back for in peace. The best part is like this is literally copyright free, this music. Yeah, I love this when this came out. I think it was like 2016 or 2015. Great album. If you're someone who's like into rock or metal, I would highly recommend checking out Smite and Ignite. Yeah, I think it 2014. That's old. 10 years ago. Guess what were we doing? So we're looking at Vite. Okay. During development, Vite sets ES next as the transform target because we assume a modern browser is used and it supports all of the latest JavaScript and CSS features. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assumption for my Chrome extension. This prevents syntax lowering, letting Vite serve modules as close as possible to the original source code. For the production build, by default, Vite targets browsers that support native ES modules, native ESM dynamic import, and import.meta. Okay, legacy browsers can be supported via the official Vite.js plugin legacy package, npm package, right? No. See the building for production section for more details. So where does this take us to? I don't know. I understand like this is like a wrapper over rollup and ES build. But it is funny to say that Vite does this, even though it's ES build does this is more like what it sounds like. Target sets the target environment for the generated JavaScript and/or CSS code. It tells ES build to transform JavaScript syntax that is too new for these environments into older JavaScript syntax that will work in these environments. For example, the ternary or the what is that called? A ternary is like when you have the question mark and then the colon. I know the question mark colon is the Elvis, right, operator, and then is it gonna bother me if I don't look it up? You know, let's check ChatGPT. Or I don't know if I have the login on this one, but the nullish coalescing operator. Nullish coalescing operator. Okay, I have to remember that. Nullish coalescing operator. I kind of want to write that down. So I feel like that is a big flex, especially if you're at work and I mentioned like, hey, can we use a nullish coalescing operator here? I'll have to. I am going to be working later today. I will have to bring that up at some point. I'm trying to find a pen. Nullish. Yeah, it was introduced in Chrome 80. What is the current version of Chrome? It's at 125. When is 80? Chrome. Oh, it's not even that long ago. So ES Build will convert it to an equivalent. This is actually when they talk about legacy browsers, they're saying like 4 years ago. I guess in my head when I hear legacy browsers, I'm thinking of like versions from like 10 years ago, 2014. I still think, yeah, I still think it'll be fine. Note that this is only concerned with syntax features, not APIs. I mean, I could just like not use certain operators, but I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, I have to look up each feature and when it was introduced. We'll see. Nah, it's not like higher on my priority list. Note that this is only concerned with syntax features, not APIs. It does not automatically add polyfills for new APIs that are not used by these environments. You'll have to explicitly import polyfills for the APIs you need by importing Codebase. Automatic polyfill injection is outside of ES Build scope. I've never actually like read We'll save that for some reading later. Yeah. Okay. Yo. So we were back on getting started, right? So we were talking about how Vite handles browser support. You can try Vite online on StackBlitz. I've never heard of StackBlitz. Interesting. Nice. So what kind of app do we got here? So we have. Okay. So we have Node. We're Vite is a dev dependency. Counter.js. Add event listener. Click. Very basic. Main.js. So what was the command that they ran here? I'm curious. Was it just Vite build? Vite. Interesting. So you just type Vite. Interesting. What is Vite preview? I'm curious what the difference between these two are. Vite preview versus Vite build. But we'll see. You can try Vite online on StackBlitz. It runs the Vite-based build setup directly in the browser, so it is almost identical to the local setup, but doesn't require installing anything on your machine. You can navigate to vite.new/blank to select which framework to use. Did I close? Templates. I'm trying to see. So is this? You can navigate to. Like, look if what is this open to? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so this is React. They have a vite.config file. Okay, so that's just so they can use the React plugin. Tsconfig. Okay. They have their TypeScript settings here. Let's see, source. App.tsx. And so I'm assuming that the commands are probably the same. TSC, like Vite build. Vite. I'm still. I don't know what the difference between the preview and the. This will be good reference. I think I will probably use React honestly for the Chrome extension. I've considered. I mean, so I don't have to decide this right now. Because I won't be getting to like the UX bit for quite a while. I like I said, I'm going to be doing all the network requests first. I could do Svelte. I've never used Svelte. I've heard a lot of things about it. So I am a little curious. I think it would be fun to use. It would take longer just because I'm not used to it. But it would be interesting. So we'll see. I think we'll make that decision later. But yeah, for now it's not. For now, honestly, I really don't have to worry too much about the UX stuff. Yeah, a little sad I haven't gotten any comments yet. It sucks because the last time I streamed, I I mean I'm so new to streaming that I just didn't realize that people had commented. And like if you could see my other monitor, I'm not gonna switch the camera over because I'm afraid that I won't be able to switch it back. But I I am like I just did not have the chat window up. Like I have Twitch chat and then I also have YouTube chat here, and so I just got kind of lost and I just didn't see the comments. Yeah, the only one I got is like this spam message. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's open up my blinds again. Yeah, I think we'll probably start with the API calls first. So I think I definitely will use Vite. We'll continue to go through the documentation. I just like I usually like, especially with projects like this, I kind of get antsy and I want to just start coding. Even though I probably should just go through the documentation first, but let's keep on track. Let's keep on track. So what we're gonna do here is have like a solid to-do list. So I guess should I do the types right now? No, let's just do this directly on main. Yeah. Alright, so we got define response object types for all API calls. Honestly, I probably need to before I do that, I probably need to go through actually like which API calls I need. Unfortunately, like the NHL.com doesn't have any documentation on their API, even though it is available publicly. You just have to go to. I think there was like a Reddit post about NHL.com API. I think it was this one. There's no. Yeah, so there's like no documentation. It looks like there is some community built documentation. I think this is the old one though. Yeah, this one doesn't work for the new one. Because there's a new API, right? So there's a new NHL.com API that came out. And there was like a post about. No, it's not that one. Can't actually find. I had this website in the past. Let me see if I can get it. I think what I might do, I might call the stream there for today. Um, we did some work. We got something set up. Honestly, I knew like today's stream, the main goal was to at least just get more comfortable streaming. So I haven't done a live stream in 3 months or so, 4 months, and I want to do this more regularly. I have a schedule of doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But it took me a while to get this green screen to come in and get everything set up. So yeah, I think we'll have a good idea of where to go next for the next stream. I do want to finish setting up. I think the goal for the next stream would be to finish getting the bundler set up, and then hopefully start making these response types for the API calls. The documentation isn't great, so I'm gonna have to just do a lot of testing in Postman, and build the response types based on that. But it shouldn't take that long. I only think we're going to be using maybe like 5 or 6 endpoints, so it shouldn't take that long to test. Yeah, thanks to everyone who stopped by, and yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.